Good morning and welcome to Living Local 15. Thank you so much for joining me today. First up, we are kicking things off with a Broadway ticket giveaway. That's right, Mrs. Doubtfire is coming to town, so stay tuned to see how you can win tickets. Then the Embassy Theater joins me in studio to discuss their newest season of Broadway. We break down the different shows and what to look forward to. And a little bit later, it's Mental Health Matters with Viking Psychiatry. And today, we're talking about new science and treatment options to help with mental health disorders. That and more happening now.
Fashion, food, and fun. You're watching Living Local 15 with your host, Jessica Williams.
Hello! Are you ready for a whole lot of heart, hilarity, and a dash of makeup magic? Because Mrs. Doubtfire, the hit Broadway musical, is coming to the Embassy Theater on October 28th and 29th for 2 unforgettable performances. Based on the beloved 1993 film, this brand new stage sensation brings everyone's favorite nanny to life in a whole new way, with original songs, big laughs, and show-stopping choreography that will have you smiling from ear to ear. It's the story that you know and love, a devoted dad who goes through extraordinary and hilarious lengths to stay in his children's lives. But now, told through the magic of live theater, it's bigger, bolder, and more moving than ever. Whether you grew up watching Mrs. Doubtfire or you're bringing the next generation along for this ride, this is one show that will speak to the entire family. And I have a sneak peek just for you.
Everyone's favorite Scottish nanny is headed to a stage near you. Mrs. Doubtfire is the smash hit musical comedy based on the iconic film, following Daniel, a father who goes to hilarious lengths to stay in his kids' lives. Critics call Mrs. Doubtfire a huge, funny hit that fires on all cylinders. Don't miss this heartfelt and hilarious musical comedy, Mrs. Doubtfire. Hello! Playing Embassy Theater October 28th and 29th. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
It's fast-paced, laugh-out-loud funny, and full of moments that will tug at your heartstrings. And as Mrs. Doubtfire herself would say, help is on the way, dears. So I'm giving you a chance to win 2 tickets to the show. Head to our Facebook and Instagram page today to enter. But it's best if you go ahead and purchase your tickets before they sell out. Go to the Embassy's website or visit them in person at the Star Box office today. And I'll see you at the show, dears.
Have an idea for the show? Want to find out how you can be a guest? Contact us at livinglocal15@wayne.com.
Enjoy fun in the sun on Living Local 15. Become a tourist in your own city. Visit your favorite spots and have some fun with me. From kayaking to rappelling off a building, I show you ways to have an adventure in Northeast Indiana every weekday morning at 9 on WANE 15. So join me, Jessica Williams, for Living Local 15.
Watch Living Local 15 with Jessica Williams weekdays at 9 on WANE 15 and catch past episodes on wayne.com.
The newest season of Broadway recently kicked off here at the Embassy Theater with the Book of Mormon, but that's just the beginning. There are so many more shows that you can attend that is so exciting. So I'm so thrilled to be joined by Carly Myers, the Chief Marketing Officer at the Embassy Theater. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going great.
Good. Okay, so this season, I mean, here we are again.
Yes.
A new season,
That's right.
new shows.
Yep.
I mean, very exciting. I was going through the rundown and I said, oh, these are different and new.
Yes.
And so let's talk about it a bit.
Sure.
What can
Yeah.
people look forward to kicking off, I mean, just in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, so we've got Mrs. Doubtfire. So for anybody that's a fan of that movie, a very beloved movie, has been brought to stage as a musical. It's going to be super fun. Then we have Kinky Boots in January. Have a little bit of a holiday break. We have Kinky Boots in January. We have have Spamalot at the end of the season. We've got Beetlejuice, The Music Man. We've got like a very rich season, and it's nice because some of these shows are family friendly. So it's, every season we try to have something in there for families. That doesn't always work out the way we want it to, but this season we've got kind of like a wide, diverse array and things that can appeal to the whole family.
Right. I mean, even with that Mrs. Doubtfire, that caught my attention because I was like, oh, how will they do that?
Yes, exactly.
Like, you want to see the costume change and then the comedy, of course, play into it. So that's going to be a really good one. And it's going to be for 2 days.
Yes. So all of our shows this season, with the exception of the Book of Mormon, which was an add-on show, are all 2 days. We're growing Broadway, so we are hoping in years to come that we're going to have 3 days and full weeks and stuff like that. That's how we're trying to grow this whole experience in Fort Wayne. We also have Clue also on that. That was the one I missed. And Clue is the first drama that we've had here in years. So it's not a musical, but that's a really fun concept. I mean, anybody that is familiar with that game and what that is all about in the movie, really, really fun, and it's a shorter show, so that can be helpful too, especially when we're doing some of these midweek shows.
Okay, so let's talk about that a bit. So I was thinking that was another one that popped out on the list because I was like, how are you going to sing a Clue? How are you going to sing a murder mystery?
No singing in that one.
No singing.
Yeah, so
and
it's
so
just
you
a
say
straight
that
drama.
there was a movie. So is this based off of the movie?
Yeah, it's kind of this amalgamation of the movie and just what Clue is as the board game. So again, another like really fun like throwback. I mean, most people know what Clue is. It's that whole whodunit concept. So that'll be really fun, and that is actually that'll be fun this season. It's kind of different because we're usually all musicals, so it's kind of nice to squeeze that one in as a drama.
Yeah, it's like it was the librarian with a candlestick in the foyer or whatever.
Exactly.
Yes,
that's right.
Kind of like a little murder mystery happening in front of us. Okay, that's going to be really great.
Yeah.
And another one that stood out is Beetlejuice.
Yes.
So
yes, we've had people ask for Beetlejuice for several of the years I've been at the embassy. So really exciting to be able to get that kind of on the season. And who doesn't? I mean, that classic Tim Burton movie just brought to life. And I know people that have seen it in New York and on the tours across the country say it's a really fun, cool show.
Yeah, and I love that when these shows kind of roll out at the same time that like there's a new movie or a remake, so you can kind of see it in different iterations and enjoy it in different ways. So let's talk about Kinky Boots a bit because I don't know anything about it, but is that like a cabaret show?
So it is a very classic Broadway show about kind of people finding out that do not have anything in common. They find out they do have things in common. So it's kind of that concept, but it is a very well-known. It won all of the all of the awards for a musical. So it is a very popular, well-known Broadway show. A lot of people that have that are huge Broadway people in Fort Wayne are excited about it. It always does well. We actually had a Broadway star a few years ago at our gala that was the star of that show, Billy Porter. So he actually came out on the stage in the red boots and stuff. So it was like
he came here?
He came, he was a part of our gala years ago. It was like when we first started doing our gala in the spring. So it's very exciting to have him here at a time when he's gotten so big. So yeah, that
Billy Porter.
that was really cool. But yeah, Kinky Boots is a very kind of a classic Broadway show.
Yes, and then the season ends with Spamalot?
Yes, in June.
Okay, and is that like a kid-friendly show?
That, I always
a kid on the cover.
I always tell people, we always encourage our families to like vet the shows, and get familiar with them. I mean, Monty Python humor is more adult. So like I would exercise some caution depending on, ages and stuff like that. But that is a show that as we released the season had a ton of excitement. A lot of people have wanted to see Spamalot in Fort Wayne, and it's kind of gotten, it's kind of been re-energized as far as the name and stuff. So that is going to be very popular. We already have people that are just like itching to buy tickets for that. And our season is ending a little bit later than normal, so having a longer, so having a little bit longer. Normally we wrap right before Memorial Day or around Memorial Day, so we've kind of extended the season a little bit this year to bring more Broadway to the community.
Yes, because it's hard those months that Broadway is off. It's like, oh no, I need a show.
That's right.
Okay, so people can buy individual shows and they can buy them by the season, right?
Yes.
So that's still available.
Yes.
Do you open up the shows like really far in advance so they can start purchasing now, or they kind of open up in increments?
They kind of roll out in very specific ways.
Okay.
Beetlejuice will be rolled out here very soon, so just teasing the public to keep an eye on individual tickets for Beetlejuice. We do have the subscription still available so that you can get a ticket, the same seat for every show, so you can get kind of your coveted spot. That's very important to our Broadway audience. And then if you buy the package and you get all 6 shows, even at the lowest package, it's about $46 a show. So you can kind of buy into a subscription for about $255. Or we know that price is an issue in our market and that price is an issue for people in general right now. So we have something called the Balcony Club, and it gives you a seat in the upper balcony, which there's not a bad spot in our house, to 3 shows, and then a drink voucher for all 3 shows, and all in that's $99.
Oh wow!
Which is a really amazing deal. So we wanted to make it more accessible to people that couldn't quite afford a season subscription, or they weren't sure how to make it happen. So we're trying to grow our Broadway base, whether it's students or people on fixed incomes. That was important to do that. So it's the second year we've done that. Very popular.
Love that, because I mean, honestly, the shows are just so good. Like you said, there's not a bad seat in the house, and I don't know. It's like we got to reach different people to say, hey, come and experience this live performance. These are national touring shows. Like this is a big deal, and I think a lot of people don't realize it's just so tangible.
I know.
Yes, that's happening here.
You said it perfectly. Once people come into a Broadway show at the Embassy, especially if it's their first time, they're like, why didn't I know this was here? Okay,
perfect. And then, of course, they have to come. I love getting in line, getting that delicious popcorn.
That's right.
Saying hey to everyone. You'll always have these little photo opportunities, booths out there. I mean, it's a whole experience.
It is.
So everyone has to come out. Okay, so in addition to the Broadway shows, you have a couple of extra shows that's happening at the Embassy. You always have something going on. So let's talk about the holiday show and then also the comedy show.
Yeah, so we have lots of stuff going on for the holidays, but we have Dolly Parton's Smoky Mountain Christmas Carol, which is kind of this really cool merging of the classic Christmas Carol story with her having scored the entire musical. So people that love Dolly and what she's about and just the things that she puts her name on are a high quality, experience. So we're excited about that. And then we've got some shows coming up, some comedy shows at the end of this month. We've got Steve Martin and Martin Short and Tom Segura. Those shows have both sold very well. We have some single tickets, but
that's a huge deal.
It is a big deal.
Comedians coming to Fort Wayne, that's exciting.
That's right. So I always tell people, keep an eye out when we promote things, because sometimes they sell out very quickly.
Right, because there are people that watch and they look and they know when it goes on sale, because you had a really big comedian, I think it was last year, I can't remember his name, but he was sold out, I mean, within days. It was crazy.
It is crazy. It's always fun to watch that from the inside at the Embassy, because you just know that people are just dying to get that live performance here, in their backyard.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Carly, for sharing. This is going to be an exciting Broadway season.
It is.
All right. If you'd like more information about the Embassy Theater, then we'll have their website listed below. Remember, you can go and check out all of the shows that they have coming up. So many. Save the date for them, and also go ahead and get your season ticket so you don't miss out on any of them. And I look forward to seeing you after the break.
Follow us on social media at Living Local 15.
This segment sponsored by Viking Psychiatry. It's time for Mental Health Matters with Viking Psychiatry, and today we're discussing the fact that millions struggle with depression that doesn't improve with traditional medications. Sean Goddard from Viking Psychiatry is here to talk about new science and treatments. Good morning.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Good.
Good to see you.
Same here.
Okay, so let's talk about this, because treatment resistant or resistant treatment?
Treatment-resistant depression.
Okay,
Yep.
treatment-resistant depression. Can you break down what that is? Because this may be a new term people have not heard.
Sure, and we call it TRD for short, because
Okay,
that's
that's
easier,
easier.
right? So technically, what's been defined as treatment-resistant depression is somebody that has failed 2 or more medications, let me rephrase that have been failed by 2 or more medications. Not that they've failed it, but those
Right.
medications have failed them in the treatment of their depression. And so if you've had 2 medications that have failed you, then you are defined as somebody who is potentially treatment resistant.
And so why is it that treatments or medication don't work on certain people?
Yeah. You know, in psychiatry for a long time, we've been focusing on something called the monoamine hypothesis, right? And that hypothesis said, well, depression is because you're short on serotonin, right? Or dopamine or norepinephrine, right? These different neurotransmitters that are involved depending on the disease process. And so if we give you a pill that will increase your serotonin, then we can make you not depressed.
Right.
But what we have found out over time is that it's not that successful, right? There's a huge study out there called the STAR-D that says by the time somebody gets to their 3rd medication, they only have about a 14% chance of success with that 3rd medication. And if they're lucky enough to be in that 14%, 65% of those people will be back in a depressive episode within 3 months, right? So traditional medications look at focusing on neurotransmitters when really what it often comes down to is a network disconnection issue in the brain.
Okay.
And those medications don't address that.
And so, and we've talked about this before, one of the challenges with traditional medications is the fact that once you're put on it, it takes weeks to take it to even see if it starts working, and then you have to fail that one, and then you have to go to the next one. And that can be a draining process, especially if someone is currently experiencing depression. And so with your approach being more holistic and offering a variety of advanced treatments, what type of hope can you bring to people who are suffering from being resistant to the traditional meds?
Yeah, a lot of the treatments that we offer are focusing on making changes now. Right?
Yeah.
Not having to wait 6, 8, 12 weeks to feel better, hopefully. And a lot of the treatments that we offer focus on that network disconnection and reconnecting, those disconnections, right? So for example, in depression, that amygdala goes into overdrive and it drives fear and ruminating thoughts because that frontal lobe is not addressing and calming it down. And so as we treat it with treatments like TMS, ketamine, Spravato, we begin to reconnect that, right? And so that frontal lobe is able to tell it to quiet down, right? Calm down, and those kind of negative and ruminating thoughts and fears begin to dissipate. And we also see something very important, and that's the reward system reconnecting, because a lot of people struggle with something called anhedonia, which is a lack of joy in life, right?
Wow.
And we see that often even with people that are treated with traditional antidepressants. They say, well, I'm not really sad, but I'm not really happy, right? And some of my clients call that the zombifying effect, right? That's not successfully treated depression, right? And so as we reconnect those networks, then that reward pathway begins to reconnect, and we begin to experience joy again, right? And finding reward in life and realizing that all those negative thoughts of that I'll never succeed, I'm never going to be happy, I'm broken, there's something wrong with me. These are things I hear all the time in practice, and they realize that they aren't broken, right? That there isn't something wrong with them. It was just the treatment that they were using that was failing them. And so as we use these treatments and we reconnect those networks, we see life changes.
Yeah, repairing the networks is so important. So right now, with people wanting that immediate result that you're talking about, are there ways that people can actually skip over having to take some of these traditional medications and be able to come see you for your instant treatment?
Yeah, absolutely. Some of our treatments are still FDA regulated, right? Like Spravato, there's certain requirements that you have failed at least two to three meds, right? And insurance requirements. So those and TMS are very similar if you want to go the route where insurance is paying for those treatments. However, we do have options through ketamine-assisted psychotherapy, and we can even use TMS without insurance involvement, and that allows us to kind of bypass that. The good news is for the example, Spravato, it just received FDA approval for monotherapy, meaning it can be used by itself. You don't have to be on an oral medication to be able to get it. And up to this point, you've had to. Now, we're waiting for the insurance companies to update their policies to match that approval. So we're still struggling getting people to be able to get it without being on an oral antidepressant. But I'm very positive that in the next 6 to 12 months, those policies will begin to catch up and people will begin to be able to get the Spravato without having to be on an oral antidepressant. So
that's exciting. It is. Okay, so people can just get started by coming to talk to you, calling. Do you offer free consultation?
Yeah, so not a free consultation, right? But we work with most major insurance companies, right? And so they come in, sit down with me for up to an hour of assessment and looking at their history and determining if they're eligible. And then also collaborating with their current treating provider as far as their psychiatrist, psychiatric nurse practitioner, whoever they're seeing, primary care doctor, creating communication lines and making sure this is an appropriate, one of these treatments are appropriate for them. And then our goal is to get people started as quickly as possible because we know, I personally know, having gone through 3 years of treatment-resistant depression in my mid-30s with failure after failure, we don't want to wait 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years to feel better. We want to feel better now, and so our goal is to get people moving forward into feeling better.
Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing. And for those who are struggling with treatment-resistant depression, Viking Psychiatry is offering new options and new hope. Their contact information is listed below, and I'll see you after this break. This segment sponsored by Viking Psychiatry.
Living Local 15, proudly driven by the Kelly Automotive Group.
Hi, I'm Jessica Williams, host of Living Local 15, covering food, fashion, and everything fun in Northeast Indiana. Watch weekday mornings at 9 as we explore the community and I introduce you to some of my new favorite places. Where will I go next? Well, you'll have to watch and see, but I want to know, where do you recommend I go?
Watch Living Local 15 with Jessica Williams, weekdays at 9 on Wayne 15, and catch past episodes on WANE.com. Go to the Living Local 15 page on WANE.com for recipes from the show, to watch a segment again, and to get information on products and services featured on Living Local 15. Content segments during today's Living Local 15 were paid for by these sponsors.